it's Monday night. I tap that, you know I would. Great cigars, great talk, yeah, it's all good. From the lounge to the show, let's spark up the night. Cigar talk, burn slow, everything's right. Legends and makers, they stop on by, sharing the secrets, the craft, the why. From the rollers to the blenders, they tell their tales. Pair it up with spirits, let the smoothness sail. Wrapper, binder, alright. Flavor notes hit just right. Retro hail, take it slow. Only I tap that cigar show. I tap that, you know I would. Great cigars, great talk, yeah, it's all good. From the lounge to the show, let's spark up the night. Cigar talk, burn slow, everything's right. So cut it, toast it, take that draw. Kick back, relax, break out the humidor. If you love cigars, well now you know. It's the I Tap That Cigar Show. I tap that, you know I would. Great cigars, great talk, yeah, it's all good. From the lounge to the show, let's spark up the night. Cigar talk, burn slow, everything's right. So cut it, toast it, take that draw. Kick back, relax, break out the humidor. If you love cigars, well now you know. It's the I Tap That Cigar Show.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the I Tap That Cigar Show. I'm your host, Kevin Shahan from Cigar Prop, and I'm coming to you live from the sunny Gulf Coast of Florida. Joining me, as always, my co-host, Kerr Viajante of Stogie Road Cigars, coming to you live from South Carolina. Kerr, what'd you think of the everybody else has these long intros to get people coming into the show. Usually takes a minute or two, but there are always these, like Ryan Miller uses like this countdown thing that I hate. Abe at KMA he's got his, but it just repeats and there's no song. So I wanted something
my rowdy friends are coming over tonight.
That's what I wanted. I wanted, a Monday night football.
Very much. You succeeded to answer, since you did ask me a question, and I realized when you ask me a question, there's usually a prologue, or not a prologue, an epilogue or whatever afterwards. It's great. I mean, and it's exactly, I knew exactly what you're going for. And very upbeat, very Monday nightish. Obviously, it's got that little bit of a vibe to it, calling back to the old Hank Williams Jr. days. And like you said, it's long enough to let people hop on. It's not the dun 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 dun.
Oh no! Oh, I want to punch my computer every time
countdown.
Someone has a 5-minute countdown, and it's just, and you're like, oh,
I used to use them too, but I don't think I did anything longer than like 30 seconds or something, because I think it would annoy the fuck out of it. It just annoyed me.
Oh yeah, so but I've been playing around with the with ChatGPT writing songs, and then I've been using that AI software. So did you hear the song I did for Steve Saka?
No.
Oh my god,
I don't think I did.
So I've got that one's up on live on Instagram and YouTube now. So I've got a playlist of a lyrical homages to cigar makers. So Steve Saka was my first. Tomorrow's Ronnie from Secreto. It's hilarious. I've got songs for Cavalier, Aganorsa, Foundation. So Calm down.
You're missing someone in that mix. I don't want to sound like kind of a self-centered prick.
So you're on that list. I'm
sure.
trying to get
Listen,
I'm trying to get
before me. I understand.
Yeah, so I'm trying to get people sucked in by the big names, and then I'll start throwing in some regular folk.
I'm a big name in some small groups, Kevin.
Yeah. Hopefully Tim Long will be joining us tonight. Like I said, he having audio issues, so just check in to make sure, see if he's
I gotta pick on Tim a little bit now. Okay, I do, and I gotta pick on you too a little bit, and Ryan. It's like you guys are the freaking like the audio. You guys get involved in your conversations with mixers. You get just like, oh, I could tone it up, and I could isolate, and I could do it. And then every single fucking time, it's always like,
here's Kerr with a webcam and a set of headphones, and
I'm like, $5 headphones at freaking bin time, and a $30 5-year-old freaking cam.
I know, I've got thousands of dollars of what you're listening and viewing me on tonight, and it's just
my audio equipment between my microphone, and I started off with a Yeti that I got on sale, and I think it was the dent and scratch like shelf at Best Buys. It was a Yeti that actually was it was the one that was designed to plug into a computer, not like a whole board, right? I think I got that for like $50, and I had that for years, and it just died. And then Jennifer got me the boom mic, and it still works. I like the headset, like because having the boom mic and then having the need to have like another cord for my headset just got too much. It was too much of a pain in the ass. It's nice to be able to wear my nice, my nice caps and stuff, but I can't do that with this. But
like
that's the only downside to it.
Yeah, Coop, and then the guys over at Matt Tobacco, they all use the headsets with the mics, and they never have problems, and their audio is crystal clear. And
I don't want to do Bluetooth headset because Bluetooth always comes with its own host of issues.
I know.
I don't have a long enough cord, because you've seen Jen and I, like when we do the bully show, it's like it's so this suits me well. This cord's even super fucking long cord. But yeah, I mean, I've probably spent in the last 9 years of doing shows, I think I've probably spent under $200 on audio, video, and lighting.
Oh yeah, and the 8 years I've been doing this, thousands and thousands of dollars, camera after camera after camera. Tim's restarting his computer, by the way. Lighting. It's
your quality is great. I mean, your quality is fantastic. It always has been fantastic. And I know that there's, even the early days or something, but like even my intros, like I know it's so much easier. And I know and I appreciate what you've introduced me to. It's like easier to have someone do it, pay them X amount of dollars, because I used to do my own intros using iMovie, and it takes a long time. I made my own intro music with GarageBand. That takes time, and it was really fun and creative as I was doing it. But looking back on it, it would have been a lot better just be like, hey, Fiverr, listen, what I need is I need this and this and this and this, and I'll pay you. And then a couple days later, you get it and you plug it on. Plug it in.
That's it. So what? No Saka tonight? No, we're gonna have to have Saka. I think I'm doing a thing with Saka this spring when he's announcing that Lancero sampler. He wants me to host that show. So where he does the reveals of what everything was.
It's up, Bones. But I did want to ask. I did want to say one thing before you kind of go through all these hearts and bones.
Yeah.
Get it? Hearts and bones. So
yeah.
I get it. I think it's tonight. I think we got to get into our CigarMedics humidimeter cut and light, don't we?
Yeah, it is. It is that time.
It is that time. So It's the CigarMedics humidimeter cut and light. Remember, with the CigarMedics humidimeter, you'll always know when to smoke them. You'll always know when to hold them. Kevin, what are you smoking this evening, my friend?
I am smoking the Intemperance Whiskey Rebellion by Roma Craft Cigars, and I am at a solid 62%.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I smoked one earlier today already.
I'm smoking this bad boy here.
Oh, the Adventure. That's one with the metal band.
Yep. This is Jennifer. I owe Jennifer a great deal of deal of gratitude. I'm at 58%, and I'm happy at 58%.
Yeah, there's no people will hear that and be like, oh my God, you need to give that time. No, you don't.
No,
there's
and
nothing wrong.
I can tell you something. Just holding this and squeezing it. I realize there's only so much how deep this can go. That's what she said. Into the cigar, but I see it's jumped up to 62%. But as I go through and I kind of squeeze the cigar, where you listening for crunches and stuff, just the wrapper itself is still nice and oily and has a nice little oily moisture to it, and the cigar itself isn't crunching. It's got some good pliability to it. So 62%, it's perfect.
Tim, what do you like your cigars at, humidity wise?
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we got you. Yeah.
Ah, perfect. Go figure. The guy who says he never has tech issues has tech issues.
Yeah, Kerr brought that up already. So yeah.
No surprise.
I had a fun time on picking on the IT guys.
Good for you. I store mine at about 65% relative humidity and smoke them 61, 62.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely nothing wrong with that. People like Kerr's at like 58%, nothing wrong with that at all. Kevin, thanks for helping my order of the grace. Oh, you're very welcome, Henry.
It burned perfect. Like I said, and you can tell too when you're squeezing on it, you can definitely tell. That's a perfect humidity.
Doing my taxes, cheat, Barry, just cheat.
Taxes, God dang, Barry, what are you waiting for, bro?
Take every deduction you can.
He's holding out. He's holding out for a last-second Trump executive order to to exonerate Barry Bones from freaking paying taxes.
That's it. Yeah, it's my accountant sends me each year. It's a booklet. I mean, it's every bit of 60 pages of hundreds and hundreds of questions. Yes, no, yeah. And if you answer yes to any one of them, got to go all the way to the end and make sure you answer why.
What do we call this? We call this the Barry Bones doesn't pay tax executive order. We'd like to thank Bones for all of his years of service.
So, but yeah, my accountant does not cheat. I actually take less deductions than I should. Like, I don't do the food, I don't do the entertainment, because you're only allowed like 50% of that. And I'm like, I'm not getting busted over $100 meal, because once they look in, then they nitpick everything. So
they'll always find something. That's the thing with audits. It's like nobody is perfect. So as soon as it's like water. As soon as they get in there, they're gonna find something. There's no.
As soon as they get in, they've got you.
Oh, that's it. And Tim, I'd mentioned on a show like a week or two ago, a couple weeks ago, I had my first audit from the what is the group, the ATF?
The ATF.
Oh, for your taxes and your inventory.
No, just for the cigars.
Okay.
And they weren't allowed to come out to my house, though. It's against the law for them to step foot inside my house, even though my business. So I had to meet them up the road and bring paperwork, and it was super simple. He took some pictures, asked me some questions, and I'm easy because I don't store any information on my computer. It's all done on the servers on the credit card side. So you can hack me all you want. You're never going to get any information. So they were all happy with that. So
all those Glocks you're selling out of your trunk.
Right.
ATF contacted them for.
I know. Tim, what are you smoking tonight?
I lit up a cigar that I have fallen in love with. It is the EP Carrillo Essence Sumatra. Oh, come on, focus for me.
that expensive equipment.
Great cigar.
Ooh, God dang.
I was
That's
on a
beautiful.
herf last week with Ernesto with the CRA.
Yeah, I saw you post about that.
And yeah, he never got his camera working, so we were just looking at the screen, the little talking bubble all night long of and I felt so bad for his daughter Lisette because she was on there with him. So normally in the past herfs, you guys have been like on a multi-stream Zoom where there's 30 little boxes on camera, and that's fine. I like looking at that because I like seeing everybody else. This time they put Lisette and Ernie on the big, and then everybody else was around there. So Lisette wasn't talking that much, but here she is, her mug right in the middle, and she realized it. So she can't do anything. She's just got to stare at the camera. She can't, scratch her face or look away or look bored, but I felt bad for her.
Yeah.
But it was, God, Ernie, just mind-boggling the amount of information that guy has stored in his cranium.
There's a reason he's called the Padrino.
Yeah, it is. It's insane, but yeah, super. And he's one of the guys I get nervous about meeting. All him and even Carlito. Like I said, Carlito and I are friends now. I still get super nervous around Carlito. I can't talk around Ernie at all.
Have you talked to Ernesto at all?
No, I've never. I've never said. I've never said more than. I've never had a conversation longer than 10 seconds with Ernie. I just don't have anything to talk about.
He's one of the nicest, most gentle, humble men you will ever meet. Awesome guy. I've talked with him on a few different occasions, but his son, Ernie as well. Both of them, Ernie's more talkative than Ernesto is, but just, salt of the earth people. And he's so easy to talk with.
Yeah. Your old partner there, Brandon, introduced or brought him over to me like PCA, and I was like, he's like, hey, here, I'm like, hey, nice to meet you. And then I just like wandered off. That was it. I saw him at Great Smoke last year. And same thing. I'm like, oh, hey, it's great to see you, Ernesto. And then like I just wandered off, and I don't know, I just can't talk to him.
How about those hamburgers?
Yeah. How about them? Yeah. So and there's like I said, just him and Carlito, and Carlito always has tons of questions for me, and I just get super nervous, but I don't know. It is what it is.
There you go.
So I've been having some bathroom issues, not as in going to the bathroom. If anybody has a good shower curtain liner, they need to send me a link to one. Kevin at CigarProp.com. Jessica bought one like a month ago. We had a run of good ones. Like they have like that clear liner, or sometimes it's white on the inside. We had good ones. Then she bought one that was like, it was like plastic tissue paper. Like it was so flimsy, and I would spend like 5 minutes
Where'd you get it?
Put it, I don't know.
Well,
Putting it where it needs to go, and then water's running and being wasteful. So she finally replaced it after a month of me complaining. So the one she gets tonight. So have any of you guys been into like the freezer of a restaurant? They have those plastic strips that you
where it's like 15 mil plastic.
Yeah. So this new shower curtain is a solid piece of that. Like you can't even slide the shower curtain. Like it doesn't even fold. So and I'm like, we go to the world's thinnest shower curtain to something that doesn't even fold.
I'm going to laugh when you're on next week's show and you have a cast on one of your arms because you tried to get in and lost.
Oh yeah.
So what? I got a question because this is important. Where is she buying them? Because honestly, for a deep dive conversation on shower curtain liners, it shouldn't be. It shouldn't happen.
No, it shouldn't. They should all be the same. They should all be getting them from the same place. Why are there different thicknesses? Who wants this super thick 15 mil, construction garbage bag grade?
Yeah. The other one.
I have like a 7 mil one.
Yeah. But I have switched over. Are you because I did a little video about the scrunchie that I had, and then people started sending me how disgusting scrunchies are and how full of bacteria they are. That was the last of that. I did switch to like these little silicone pads, and they're like infused with like silver, so they're antimicrobial. but they got a little thing on the back so you can put your hand in. I love
Wow.
these. I will never use anything but the silicone pad again. It's absolutely amazing. So in case I have two
infused with what to do what to what?
Silver. Same with my bath towels. There's silver woven into it because silver is naturally antimicrobial. So
are you afraid of werewolves?
He's afraid of his own germs.
Germs. But then people are out there, they're going to repeat that. You know how rich Kevin is? He has
He's got
silver
motherfucking scrub brushes.
You're like the Howie Mandel of the cigar industry.
Yeah.
That's it. And then I did have to clean. Jessica was cleaning all of our brushes today, and I had to show her a hack that I thought I would just show everybody tonight. If you have a brush like this and it gets all full of hair, instead of pulling all of the hair out, if you actually take another brush, put it on top of there, and you just twist it back and forth, it pulls all the hair out.
That's so
I don't
Kevin,
know how you fill up a hairbrush though, Kevin.
I was gonna say it's not his.
How do you fill up a hairbrush, bro?
Oh yeah. I lose quite a few of these. So,
so Kevin, my advice to you with going back to the shower curtain, right, is do you have your external shower curtain? Is it plastic or is it cloth?
I don't know. It might be cloth.
You shower all the time, so I mean, how do you not know this?
I don't know.
Okay, so the best way to get a good shower curtain liner is you just get an additional plastic shower curtain on the outside. You know it's going to be flexible. You know it's going to be pliable. It's going to have those little weights on the bottom, on either corner, which makes it shortens it, and then you'll be good to go.
All right, that makes sense.
Just order one of the hotel ones where it's an all-in-one, and you just bloop, shove it inside, you're good to go.
I'll just wait to get just wait to get into my next hotel, and like a second later, call. I don't have a shower curtain, and then just take it with me.
A lot of them don't even the ones I'm understanding. A lot of them don't even have the plastic curtain on the inside. They just have the big, thick, heavy cloth on the outside because they're tough to clean. They get moldy real quick.
Oh yeah,
and it's pretty fucking gross. So.
Yeah, I've been having issues like hotels lately, like the ultra slippery, like they're waxing the bottom of the damn tubs.
Oh yeah,
oh yeah. When I'm like, because I got in one, Jessica and I don't know, maybe last year when we were both staying at a hotel, and I got it instantly slipped, and I was like, if I didn't catch myself, I'm like, this could have been like a hell of a lawsuit, So I don't know. It is what it is. So we do have did we have an ad read here? I thought I had one. I do, since we're talking about bathroom products. So let me I haven't memorized this yet. So hey folks, if you've got a beard and you're trying to grow one, listen up. Let me introduce you to Irish Beard Balm, the balm that's changing the game. Unlike other balms, Irish Beard Balm skips the heavy butters that leave your beard feeling greasy and weighed down. Instead, it uses a lightweight, all-natural formula with ingredients like coconut oil, beeswax, and jojoba oil to condition, soften, and keep your beard manageable all day long. Plus, it washes out easily, which means no buildup. Ready to treat your beard to something better? Check out Irish Beard Balm today. And just for a disclaimer, I own Irish Beard Balm. That is my company. So,
and I can attest to how nice it is. And I will say that most of the like beard butters and balms and all that, they're like gritty or they don't warm up easily. That stuff is just silky smooth right away. It's awesome.
I tell you, when I was creating that, Tim, you couldn't believe how many people told me that wasn't possible to create a solid oil without using jojoba butter or coconut butter or like the cheap butters. You can't make it happen. You can't. I'm like, nah, that's so contacts in the industry, the cosmetic industries. And I'm like, yes, you can. It's expensive, but and I figured it out.
And the Cuban tobacco scent is on the money.
Nice.
Oh, right on. We actually just launched. We didn't include that one. I was getting mixed feedback on that. Everybody loved it.
Mm-hmm.
They were disappointed over the name Cuban tobacco, because it didn't, it was supposed to be reminiscent, but so I think I'm going to keep that one. We're going to change the name to something else.
What about Florida sun grown?
Yeah.
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 Keep it more distinct.
use some of that honey that's in there.
Hey,
So,
Kev, before we kick off, I did want to say something before we get in deep into this. As you know, I'm in Greenville, South Carolina. As you know, North and South Carolina have been they've been hit pretty hard with some forest fires. Now, we've been blessed and lucky enough to, even when the hurricane hit here, I mean, it did hit our area, but the forest fires are kind of north of us, but really east of us, like in between where we are and Myrtle Beach. So when you leave my place and you start heading towards Myrtle Beach, it's a whole lot of trees. So keep everybody in your thoughts and prayers. And if you do want to help out, hop on the American Red Cross. You can go in there and donate. North Carolina as well. There's a lot of areas up in North Carolina. There's also some specifics to the Cherokee Nation that's being hit really hard with these forest fires. So just keep everybody in mind. These fires are just not regulated to. I know when the LA fires got hit, or when LA got hit hard with the fires, that got a lot of press, and obviously, we don't expect, Brad Pitt to be getting on the Oscars and announcing, some additional relief in North and South Carolina for the fires. But a lot of what's happening down here, Kevin, is folks, 60%, 70% of the fires here are from just negligence. People burning, and it's just been very dry, and it's been really cold lately, but it's been very dry, and we've been getting tremendous winds over the last several weeks. So people go out, they want to burn a big pile of leaves or open up their burn pit or their burn barrel. Shit starts flying around, boom, catches fire real quick.
People, said, that they, and I was the same person, years ago, a decade ago. Like, how do you let that get out of control? How does like a little campfire get out of control? We were out in the middle of the woods doing four-wheeling one day, and there was probably 30 or 40 of us. We had barbecue grills, and I had lit up my little barbecue grill, and a single like little ember like jumped out and hit the ground next to us. And this is Florida in the summertime, and it spread to about 10 feet instantly. Yeah, I mean, not within a second. It was just instant. And then luckily everybody pounced on it and got it out within seconds. But after that, I'm like, oh my God, like I just couldn't believe at how fast that it just blew up. And now that's the first time hearing about these North Carolina fires. I haven't heard anything on our.
You're not going to hear. I mean, you're not going to hear much of it. I mean, it's but it's been pretty bad last couple of weeks. But yeah, Tim, that stuff escalates pretty quickly, especially when you get wind, like the wind blowing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, about it.
Like Tim's got Tim, how far away? Because you're in Corona, California. How far away from the fires are you?
So the Pasadena or the Altadena fire started about 3 blocks from my brother-in-law's apartment, and I'm probably a good 30 miles from him. And then the Malibu one, that'll take me probably about an hour and a half to get there, although that's relative in California, Southern California traffic. But that's probably about 50 miles away from me. But we had
pretty visible though, right?
Yeah. Oh, totally visible. You could smell it.
Yeah, you're getting
ash was carrying all the way down here. I mean, it was gnarly and nasty for a long time. It made for amazing sunsets, but it was nasty and gnarly for a long time.
Yeah, the fires here are not that close to us, just because of I'm 4 hours from my house to Myrtle Beach, 3.5, 4 hours, and most of these fires are occurring right outside of Myrtle Beach because there is like a whole lot of nothing but mountains in that area.
Yeah. Now, Tim, have you got? Is everything 100% contained? Fires are out.
Everything's out. And when we had the rainstorm come through, I wouldn't even say rainstorm, when the sky spit on us, that pretty much took it from, I think, being like 60% contained to 100% contained. But I was actually in Vegas for work for a trade show, and we had, I think it was in the 5 days we were there, we had like 9 other little brush fires or wildfires start up. They all got knocked down pretty quickly. But I have an app that I installed. I don't even remember what it's called, but it basically would alert me if anywhere within 30 miles, I think is what I set it at, of my house caught fire, and it was going off all the time.
Wow.
Yeah, it was nuts. And then we have Santa Ana winds. For those that don't know what Santa Ana winds are, basically they come down the mountain past the San Gabriel Mountains and the San Bernardino Mountains, and they blow towards the city of Santa Ana. So they're called Santa Ana winds. And a sustained wind is 25, 30 miles an hour, and it's just constant, no big deal. And to us, it's not a big deal. And we'll get gusts that'll be 70, 80, 85 miles an hour. And I grew up with it, so I'm used to it. So, I mean, not to make fun of people that have hurricanes and all those kinds of things, but they're like, oh, we've got sustained winds of 60 miles an hour. I'm like, that's my childhood. What's the issue? Now, obviously, it's much more devastating for hurricanes and the rain and all that other kind of stuff. But I grew up with all the winds.
Yeah, but we get that for an hour or two. You get it for...
We get it for 2-3 days straight.
Yeah. So, yeah. So
yeah, I mean, it's windy here right now. Yeah, it's sustained at 19 miles an hour, and gusts are projected up to 35 miles an hour.
It's all relative, like you said. I mean, I grew up in the Northeast, so when you hear about some of these states, like in Texas, when they say we got snow, even I was like, "Are you kidding me?" Like it's snow. You know, you're just not used to it. You're not prepared for it. You haven't been around it your whole life, and a 2 foot snowfall is it's nothing.
Yeah.
Now Tim, like I said, are you still doing the building inspecting thing? Are you still doing that? Or?
Not really. When interest rates went up a couple of years ago, it pretty much killed it for me because I was just getting started. And I had a portfolio with some realtors, but they stayed loyal to the inspectors that they had for years and years, which I totally understood. And then with work at Scouts and then part-time work at church and all that, I really just didn't have the time. I'm still certified to do residential home inspections and do all that. In fact, I get asked questions semi-frequently from family and friends of, hey, I'm thinking of doing this, or, you know, they put on a new roof. Can you come see if they did it right? You know, and those kinds of things. But as far as doing the inspections consistently, no, I'm not.
But so you're familiar with like the inspections, permitting process, and everything like that. So like I said, during your whole fires, I was hooked on Adam Carolla. I love Adam Carolla. Haven't really been a fan of what his old partner Jimmy Kimmel has become, but sure. Adam was just talking about, you know, because he's a construction guy, you know, builder. He was talking about how bad the building process is and the permitting process in California. He says some of these homes, it'll be 2 years before they get a single piece of lumber dropped for, you know, to rebuild. Is that true? I mean, is it really that bad?
Well, I'll give you an example. One of my close family friends, they had an e-bike battery that was plugged in overnight. It caught fire, and about a quarter of their house just got ravaged by fire on the inside. The whole house didn't burn down. They didn't, you know, condemn the house, nothing like that. And that was 2 years ago, something like that. They are still about 3 to 4 months away from being able to hopefully get back in to it. And that's just one single house because of permitting and processing and city inspectors. And then the city inspectors got to send their stuff to the county, and the county's got to say, yeah, that fits on the plot of land. And there's a whole lot of red tape. But for rebuilding new houses, I mean, they've got EPA stuff they've got to go through. After EPA comes in and they do soil samples to make sure it's structurally sound, you know, in the soil, then it's permits for construction. And I used to do inspections for what they call draw inspections. So as a new construction property was being built, and I mean, they would do, say, the foundation, and they'd have all the framing up, the studs, or if they were using the aluminum stuff. And you'd have to go and inspect that. And the contractors could work a little bit beyond that point, but they couldn't do a whole lot more past that. So it's a step-by-step process. And the contractors don't want to go too far ahead, because that draw inspection is what gives them basically more funding from the bank in order to continue building. So if the draw inspector takes 3 weeks to get out there, they're at a stalemate.
No. Yeah, you got to make sure those worms aren't going to be upset when you start building.
We were lucky with this. You know, we would have one contractor come in and he would say something. He goes, "Hey, I know your next," or one inspector come in and goes, "Hey, I know your next inspector. He's real picky about this. Just change a couple of these things. You know, like your part passes, but he's going to be picky on that." So then that inspector would come in, everything would be perfect, and he'd say the same thing. "Hey, I know the guy doing your next one. Just, you know, button that up a little bit." And then, or if it was something minor that we failed, and you know, because he knew my contractor, and he'd call Mitch and be like, "Hey, Mitch, I'm going to go ahead and pass it. Get your guy out here and just redo this one thing, and you're good." He'd sign off on it. But,
I had one contractor that called me. It was for a draw inspector for like a 6,000 square foot mansion overlooking a vista. I mean, just this massive build out. up on a hill, and I took all the pictures and documented it. And then I had the company that I was doing the inspections, the draw inspections for, call me, and they go, "Hey, so the bank said they wouldn't do another disbursement, but the contractor's saying it's done." And I said, "Well, you have all my photos. What's the question?" And the lady on the phone goes, "Well, he's saying that all of the fixtures and everything in the bathroom were completely done and ready to go." And I said, "They were in the bathroom, but they were not all installed. I mean, the faucets for the sinks were sitting in the sink. You know,
okay.
the toilet was there with the toilet bowl and the tank, but the tank was laying on the toilet bowl. So were they in the bathroom? Yes, but were they
Yeah, they're there.
By no means."
That's crazy.
Oh,
I heard Hawaii's the same when it comes to the all the processing and the paperwork and all the red tape and bullshit. It's like some of those houses will never be rebuilt.
Oh no, most of them probably won't.
yeah, and we're making fun of there's one I forget who it was, the famous person that had a pool put in their house in California, and it took like 3 years because it had to be a double hulled pool to catch the water in case the pool. And I'm like, wait, what? It was just
That's
the insane things that that Adam Carolla was talking about.
Oh yeah.
Just and it's always about money. It's all it is.
100%. Yep.
That's it. Just permits for, and I understand certain things. Like my neighbors will complain, "Oh, I can't believe I got to pull a permit to put a water heater in." I go, "Yeah, because I don't want my house to burn down because you're not an electrician. If you want to put it in yourself, I'm okay with that, because if it leaks, it's just going to ruin your house. But I want an electrician to come out and hook it up, because you asked me how to put gas in your car, and I don't trust you, hooking up the wiring next door, and your house burns down and mine's right next door. So my house is going to burn down." So I understand the permitting for that, for certain things.
Yep. Every couple of years, things change here. I mean, for hot water heaters, it used to be that you needed, for California, you needed to have 2 straps, the metal bands that anchor into the wall and do that. And about 2 years ago, when I switched out mine, it went to 3 bands, so top, middle, and bottom. And even if the pan that you put at the bottom was totally fine and reusable, it was required that you switch out the pan at the bottom. And so it was all about just putting more money back into the system, and let's change regulation because we can. And yes, it helps the stores, it helps do all that, but there are some things that are just completely overkill.
We don't require straps or pans.
You don't have earthquakes.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. We don't have an earthquake knocking around a steaming bomb inside our garage. So.
Pretty much.
Yeah. And I was just watching the a video today. They got new colors for wires now. They got a purple, pink, and blue, for the 3-wire with ground, and it's all flat wire now. And it's always, it's
are they new colors, or are they matching that? Because remember, I got that that one light I was going to install here, and it had all different colors, and then I looked it up, and it was all European color codes. It was like,
you got one off Amazon too.
It was purple, brown, and pink.
How do we know where the hot is? They're not the colors that match. What's going on? Where's hot? Where's neutral?
When I opened it up, I was like, what the hell did I get into? And then I started looking it up, and they're like, now here's the conversion, because this is all European color coded for wires. I said, oh, well, this is going to go in a yard sale. I'll let someone else have to Google this one.
Oh yeah. When the fans I have in here, I've had them gone bad a couple times now. You're sure it's wired correctly? There's 3: black, white, and green. And I matched it to the black, white, and green. But I told them, I said, we have a licensed electrician hooked it up, which originally they did, so now I just, every time I replace them, I just follow his black, white, and green.
I saw your post. I remember your post about that. And I saw some of the people responding like, well, I think what you need to do, I would just do this. What I think you need to do. And I'm
that was on the other fan, the new that was a new install. So it's going from an on-off, it was to a multi-function. Yeah. I didn't know the two, because it had like 2 blacks, a white, and then a green.
But the comments were kind of like,
I just feel like, what are you commenting for? You're not even an electrician. I think or it was Just hook
Looks
two
like.
blacks together and you should be good.
You
Oh, I
should
should
be
be,
good.
should I?
You should be.
Yeah, I should be.
Oh,
You know,
famous
is
last words before you
yeah,
get fried.
is that what I
Yeah.
tell my insurance company? Hey, this guy said I should be good. You know, his
I
bad.
think that's what they. That's
That
what
means my
they
claim
tell their
should be approved.
Yeah,
That's what they tell them right before when they put them on the electric chair. Here, I'm going to put this over your head. You should be good.
Oh, exactly. So, never ending. So, Tim, do you know John Carney over at LFD?
I've never met him, but I know of him. Yeah.
Okay, so you definitely. He's with Bentley now. You know,
Right. Yeah, he started with them probably 4 months ago or so.
Yeah. Do you get the email? Are you on their media list? I'm not on their media list.
No, I don't think I am.
So you would definitely want to reach out. John Carney
Okay.
has some breaking news happening in a couple weeks.
Oh, really?
So it's awesome. So I was at an event and I can't tell anybody. I didn't even told Kerr, and because he told me not to tell anybody because it's break it. So yeah, keep your eye on John Carney, Bentley Tobacco. Gonna shake up the industry coming in a couple weeks.
Interesting.
So yeah, super cool stuff coming out. But what a great event! We went out to the Cigar Circus. Ryan Gallimore of Drew Estate opened up. You talk about just as in cigar manufacturers. There was easily 24 of them that were there. You know, brokers, sales reps. It was just an amazing show. So if anybody's in the Clearwater, Florida area, definitely stop by Cigar Circus and check it out. So they had a good
time had by all.
A good time had by all. So for
Good.
sure, Kerr, we got a swag pack. We got one coming your way because we don't need any more swag at all.
Oh, I need lots of swag.
You need
I need a lot
Tim.
of help.
Tim, you probably don't need any more swag. How many humidors do you have now, Tim? Last time I counted, I think you had like 8.
I have 8 thermoelectrics.
Okay, so
and I've given 3 away.
Okay, do you need another one?
Which one do you have, or what do you have?
The Affidano, the newest one I just posted a picture of.
They let you keep that one?
Yeah, so here's the trick to that.
Because they reached out to me and said it had to be sent back after the review.
You should. Well, they were paying to send it back, so you didn't have to do anything. So you should go and it is an amazing humidor. So I think the majority because they offered you could buy it for 50% off. That's
still like $4,000 though.
You know, no, I didn't take that one. I said I said I can't do a review on a $4,000 humidor, or they're $10,000 or $12,000.
Yeah,
I go if you want to do like the $1,500 one, I'm fine. That's within the budget of my followers. Yeah, I mean, I could take it, but I would just feel like a dick, flaunting a $5,000 humidor. So they're like, okay, so you can buy it for like 50% off, or you will pay for you to send it back. I'm like, all right, you can have it back. I go, I don't have any. I'll do it for you guys. And then and they're like, really? And I'm like, yeah, I don't want it. You can have it back. So a couple days later, they sent me an email. Congratulations, we decided to let you keep it. And I'm like, all right, cool. So it shows up on this crate and everything else. I go, there's no way that you were taking this back. Like, you never get it back into this crate and everything else. I think influencers just buy them. Like I must be the first one. They're like, hey, what do we do now? This guy doesn't want it. Like,
yeah,
crap.
right.
Just call the bluff.
I wouldn't buy it, even if it was the $800 or the $1,500 unit. Paying for having, like, I having another one, sure, I'll get enough cigars, I'll fill it. I've got some extras from when I was at TPE, things like that. But to justify spending $750 on a humidor, I don't need to have it.
Yeah. So the only reason I thought of you is because, like I said, after I did the video and everything else, then they reached out and then they had like these 3 different scripts. And like, oh, we'd love it if you could do like this. And I'm like, that's not my style. Like, filming and B-roll and all that. I go, that's not what I do at all. Like, that's not. I go, I got a guy that's his style. So, you should definitely, if you still got their email, reach back out to him.
Yeah, I still have it. I'll reach back out to him.
Yeah, for sure. That's a great humidor though. God, the thing was just.
They're gorgeous. They're absolutely gorgeous. I saw them last year at PCA and looked around at them, and they're just incredible.
I filled mine up. It took like not quite a gallon of water, and I bet I've had it for 2 months now. I haven't added a drop. 0.
Nice.
No,
No.
was that distilled water you purchased or that you made?
Yeah, shut up, Kerr. Yeah, I purchased it.
Okay.
I bought that distilled water machine, not thinking that distilled water is just boiling water and catching it, and it takes like 12 hours to make 5 gallons of water. It's too much.
Yeah, and you got to start with 50 gallons.
It was too much, man. So it's sitting over here in the corner. If anybody needs a water distiller, that's I got one. I'll send it to you for free.
Slightly used.
Slightly used. So how's California doing as a whole since the election? I know your governor's kind of buttering up to the new administration a little bit.
Yeah, depends on how political you want me to get on this.
Yeah, I've seen your hats you and your family wear, so I know which way. Yeah,
there you go. I think his days are numbered. I don't know that they'll get enough signatures to do another. That would be the third recall election. I don't know if they'll get enough signatures to do a recall on Newsom.
He's only got 2 more years.
He's only got 2 more years to completely destroy our state. And I don't think he's got the backing anymore, because it's really interesting when you look at 2020's election, from the coast inland, that 2/3 was all blue, and then everything close to like Nevada and Arizona and all that was red, and it's completely flip-flopped. Now it's only like the coastal maybe quarter is blue and everything else is all red. So I think there's going to be a change coming, especially after the fires and all the different things that have come out about it. And, mayor being on vacation, internationally, and all those different things. I think their days are numbered, and I am totally okay with that.
Do you think that's the reason why he's doing his podcast now? That's his backup gig?
Well, yeah, I mean, let's face it, he doesn't have Aunt Nancy to bail him out anymore and to, put in a good word with, Biden or whoever else is president.
But I think that's odd that he's, in the midst of everything that's been going on, he's started a podcast.
Well, yeah, and I mean, you look at the quotes from him or from, I don't remember who he worked for, whether it was Department of Water and Power or whoever it was, where they definitely had some Freudian slips, and they may have been genuine Freudian slips, where the one guy says, we just need to get back to normal before we started these fires. That one went viral. Or, Newsom saying, we didn't know what was going to happen, so we staged 120 fire companies around the area. Well, how did they know to stage 120 fire companies literally within 1.5 miles of where the fires broke out?
Right.
So, I mean, yeah, and you can go down the crazy political wormhole of the what do they call it, 10-minute cities or 15-minute cities, and go down all of that and look and see that where these fires were is where they want to build a 10-minute city and all these different things. But at the end of the day, he's going to try whatever he can. And for Riverside County Sheriff Bianco, Chad Bianco, announced his candidacy and that he's running for governor. And I think he's going to have a whole lot of support because he is a tried and true patriotic guy. He's been a really, really good sheriff for the last, I think, 4 years now. Reelected, all those different things. And so I know there's some other people that are going to throw their name in the hat. There's already like 6 Democrats that are going to try and run for it. I know there's rumors that Kamala is going to come back and try and run for it.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be some change, whether it's actually with who gets elected or it's just the mindset and where propositions and things go. I think there's going to be a change. I don't know if it's going to make a drastic, like life altering change in the next couple of years. But I see that things are starting to shift.
I think he's trying to be the one thing that I found very comical was throughout this whole election was the Joe Rogan effect, right? Everyone was, after everything happened, like the Democrat said, we need a Joe Rogan. That's what we need. We need a Joe Rogan. It was like, well, you had him, but we need a Joe Rogan. I think he knows his days are numbered. He's a charismatic. He's a good-looking dude. He's, obviously, he's a politician. He's knowledgeable, but he's also, I think, has that little bit of a personality. I think he's going to try and be the podcast. He's going to try and become the Joe Rogan for the Democratic Party with this podcast. That's what I see about 8,000 yards down the road. As of right now, I think you're right with what's going on with him.
Oh yeah, and he's going to try. because he thinks he can be that voice.
Yeah.
But when you look at the makeup of our state, especially with how everybody voted this last election, he's really only appealing to geographically, he's only appealing to about 15% of the state. But I mean, it's about 35% or so of the actual population of California, which again is millions of people. But I don't think that with how things have gone, with changes that are going on, with what Trump is doing with, executive orders and with passing new legislation, I don't think that he's going to be able to make up as much ground and get in people's good side as he hopes.
No, I think he's going more for a national, like global type atmosphere. I think he's putting the governor of California in his rearview mirror. I think he already knows it's there. I think he's looking well ahead. And I think it's more. I think that podcast is more than reaching Californians. I think he wants to make a big splash and make a huge turn for that type of media for liberals and for the Democrats, because that's an area that is truly lacking for them. It's one of the other alternative media sources that just completely it hamstrung them. I mean, when you saw what Trump was, I mean, like him or not, but he was going on in freaking Theo's, podcast. He was going on anybody and everybody. He's talking to everybody, everyday people. Like, it's like, who sits there and listens to Theo's podcast? Well, Tuesday they're going to listen to Trump. You're like, well, fuck, I got to tune in for that one.
Yep. Yeah. I suspected that Newsom was actually vying to be on the ticket back when he welcomed the president of China to San Francisco and cleaned it up and did all that. But things just didn't go his way. And obviously I'm glad that they didn't personally. But I think after the fires, after the two big aqueducts, the water basins that had a couple billion gallons each in them were dry, the hydrants running out of water, all those different things. I think that mixed with the fires, mixed with what he's been pushing, that now nationwide, which is coming back into California mindset of, take care of America first. I don't think he's going to have the success. And I figured he was going to try and run for the White House when he's done being governor. But with where the political climate is right now, I don't see him having a place.
No, he's I think he's pivoting elsewhere. I think is the right ball.
That's it. We got a question. Just finishing a Oliva V Lancero smashing stick. Any suggestion for a creamy smoke, UK based, annoyingly so somewhat limited? Especially UK. God, I just feel for you guys over there and your cigar prices.
Yeah, I mean, I believe Espinosa is in the UK, so I would do the Crema by Espinosa.
That's what I was going to say the same thing, and I'm thinking, I was reading, I'm like, I bet Tim's going to say the same thing.
Espinosa Crema, hands down. That's what I would go with.
Yeah, great creamy smoke. Tim, did you do you didn't do a cigar of the year last year, did you, for 2024? Or did I miss it?
Yeah, I did my cigar of the year. In fact, I have that's 2023. Where did I put this 24 list? Ironically, cigars that were blended or rolled by EP ended up being all of the top three. But my number one was the Coroneta Maduro from Crown Heads.
Oh my God. So
and
good.
I love, and I caught quite a bit of flack for it. They're like, why? It's terrible. It tastes like dirt, all these different things. And I just thought, that's fine. It's your palate. You can say what you want. You can disagree, but I absolutely love that Coroneta Maduro.
Oh my God. That was I've never met anybody that hasn't liked that. I turned so many people onto that cigar. Not one person has come back and said, that was a bad choice. That was a great stick. So,
yep. Yeah. Number two was Circle of Life by West Tampa. Love the Circle of Life.
That was on my big list. When I smoked that one, I smoked a couple more throughout the year, and that was crazy good as well. I saw Ricky this past weekend. He's always a joy to talk to.
He's so down to earth. You don't even think you're talking to a cigar guy. You're just hanging out talking with a buddy.
Oh yeah, and Jessica loves because the first thing, because Ricky will see Jessica, and he instantly starts giving updates on Sarah. because he knows Jessica doesn't give a shit about the cigars or anything else. How's Sarah doing? What's she up to? And we saw him at the Ybor City Cigar Heritage Festival in December, and his first thing, how's Sarah doing? She moved to North Carolina, moved out of Florida. She's really into the church, God and everything, and so she's really into that. And then, but he said it broke his heart because she's trying to put up Christmas lights and she was having difficulty, and she called him and he goes, as a dad, I just want to get in a car or on a plane and be like, I'll be there. He goes, but she's in North Carolina. I couldn't go there. And he goes, and it crushed him that his little girl needed help with Christmas lights, and he couldn't just drive over there real quick and help her. So,
and she's an absolute sweetheart.
She is. Like I said, you see Sarah smile and everybody smiles. Like you can't be mad. You can't be in a bad mood around Sarah. She is just such an amazing human being. But talking about her being involved in her local church and delving in, I listened to your sermon that you posted a couple of weeks ago. Good job. So is that what you're? Because I know on your Facebook page you're a tech director and pastor at Main Street Church. What is that all? How'd that come about?
So I took over the tech director position 3+ years ago. Just my event background in tech and sound, and obviously, as you guys know, just being very picky with how things are done. The guy that was in that position supporting tech moved out of state, and so my dad, who's on staff there, and the lead pastor both said, "Hey, can you fill in for a while?" Which turned into being on part-time staff. And then January of last year, I became a licensed pastor with that church. So the joke is I can marry and bury at the church now.
Nice.
So sweet. What state to become a licensed pastor? Is that like a church thing, or is that like a Baptist thing, a Methodist thing, or is it like a state thing? What's that all?
So to be a licensed pastor, so our church is established as a Baptist church. We still have our Baptist roots, but we're not governed by Southern Baptist Convention or anybody else. And so the Board of Elders, with the recommendation of the executive pastor team, or the executive pastor and the senior pastor, with the recommendation of both of them, as long as they're completing what's called sacerdotal duties, which means leading services weekly, or ministry areas, or doing a number of different things, weddings, funerals. There's 7 different things that need to be considered, or that they need to be actively doing. And so the Board of Elders can then approve and then agree to license someone as a pastor at that church. And so that's what took place.
Okay. So it's not like, so if you went to another church, you would have to start that process over, or since you already licensed, like they recognize that, or?
So chances are, if I were to go to another church, they would consider that and say, okay, we can license you here. So there's a difference between being a licensed pastor and being an ordained minister. Ordained, or ordination, usually involves sort of an interview with the ordaining entity. And there's a bunch of different church groups that can do it. You can get ordained online. You can do those different things. But when you're an ordained minister, you can take that ordination to any church in that faith system. And it doesn't have to be specific to Lutheran or Baptist or non-denominational or any of those different things. And you can take it anywhere within the Christian church world. But when you're licensed, it's at that specific church.
All right. So what's the on a and I'm not familiar with like the Baptist. I know, like I said, you're not governed by them, but what's the difference between let's say like Baptist, Methodist, Catholic? Kerr grew up Catholic, so I mean,
So Catholic is a, some would say it's not much of a difference, but my personal opinion is there's quite a bit of difference between Catholicism and Christianity. Baptist mainly. We'll stay there because there aren't any intercessory prayers. There isn't any elevated perspective or view of Mary. There isn't praying to the saints. There isn't any of those different things. There isn't a rosary. There aren't those kinds of things. There aren't Hail Marys or Our Fathers. There aren't any of those kinds of things in the Baptist or Methodist belief system. But the difference between like Baptist and Methodist or Lutheran really comes down to what core beliefs they hold. So Lutheran holds tightly to Martin Luther and his interpretation of the Bible. Methodist is in many ways very similar to Catholicism in the way that the pastors dress and their theological stance. And Baptist usually is closer to a non-denominational church with the and they call it Baptist roots because there's the belief of baptism has to be a personal decision, and once you decide to dedicate your life to Christ, that the baptism is done by full immersion, so fully going underwater, as opposed to a baby being sprinkled or a baby being fully baptized, different things. So it's little adjustments and differences. And at the core of all of it, my personal thing is, at the core of all of it, what it comes down to is, do you have a relationship, a tangible relationship with Jesus Christ, and do you believe that he's your Lord and Savior? And whether you're Methodist or Baptist or Lutheran or, you know, any of the other different denominations under the Christianity umbrella, as the Bible talks, really what it comes down to is, have you accepted Christ as your Lord and Savior? And through the power of the Holy Spirit, are you going to live your life each day to follow him and to make him known?
And I can tell you this, Kevin, just from, you know, being a varsity Catholic my whole life, and then, you know, also going outside of the Catholic belief. You know, I've gone and joined the Lutheran Church, and living down here in the South, we've gone to Baptist church, and we've gone to non-denominational churches, and have gone to Methodist churches. What Tim's saying is, like, when you think of the Catholic Church, there's a lot of middlemen. It's like, you know, you can pray to St. Anthony if you lose your keys. You pray to Mary. Mary, obviously, this mother of Jesus, that Mary has her own month, everything else. And a lot of the other religions under Christianity, some of them actually believe that that is in violation of the first commandment, is you shall not have any other gods besides me. You're actually praying to somebody else other than God or his son. So that's the big beef, and you hear a lot of criticism, and a lot of the attacks on Catholicism is because, like, why are you praying to that saint? Why are you praying to Mary? You pray to God. You pray to Jesus. That's your personal relationship. So that is one of the biggest differences I know I've seen from going from point A to point freaking testifying in the Baptist church for 2 hours, and learning that someone who actually was in the congregation had their grandfather was a Gettysburg veteran. No kidding. It was Veterans Day, and we were in a Baptist church. They were all testifying on Veterans Day.
Wow.
And it was like, I testify my grandfather's in World War II. My grandfather was in World War, and everybody's going through all these different wars. One guy goes, my grandfather is still buried in Gettysburg. I remembered. I was like, holy shit, Joe. We've seen everything, but that's one of the real biggest differences is that middleman. You know, that's why when you walk into a Catholic church, you'll see lots of statues of saints and Mary and everything. You go into a Lutheran or Methodist church, it's just a cross, crucifix, maybe, and then that's it.
Yeah.
A bunch of candles.
Oh yeah, I was the best man at my wedding like 20 years ago, and he had to convert. He was Lutheran. He had to convert to be a Catholic because his wife, and they wanted to get married in the Catholic church. And we're going like the rehearsal at the church, and I just walk up and there's a lady praying in front of the Mary, and then I look at Tom and I go, isn't that a graven image? He goes, you gonna be able to let this go, Kevin? I go, I'll let it go. And like please don't. Please don't, you know.
Yeah, go from Catholicism to like Lutheran or to Methodist. It's like going from, like, you know, an IPA to a Miller Lite. But when you're going from a Miller Lite to an IPA, sometimes that's a tough step up into that.
Yep.
Yeah. We had some issues here in Florida. My I grew up. I was baptized Methodist. I grew up in the Methodist church, right? But the Methodists, like they're really divided right now. The same-sex marriage and a lot of that, boy, that has divided the Methodist church. You know,
a lot of Methodists.
Yeah. Are they humans? Are they not humans? You know, it was a lot of things, and we're not even going to get into that. But that has
you can walk into some of those churches, and it's like you can walk into Church A and Church B, and Church A, like you said, is completely anti. You can walk into Church B, and the sermon, you're going, is this a sermon or a political statement, you know, by XYZ? And I actually walked out of a Lutheran church a while back because I go there because I'm going there for my faith, to learn spirituality. I'm not there to have somebody lecture me politically.
Right.
I'm not there for that. That's what freaking the TV does. It's supposed to do for us, and the internet's, not your pastor, not your priest, or whatever the case may
That's
be.
why that's why a lot of it's one reason my parents left that one, and a lot of friends, and they said the same thing. We didn't come for a political talk.
And I don't care what point of view it is, conservative or liberal. I didn't come for that. Last time I checked,
either way.
Trump and Biden aren't in the Bible. So move along and let's talk about the readings and how it's applicable in our own life, not applicable on who we're going to vote for.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of Methodist churches, especially here in Southern California, a lot of them, and it becomes a whole deep theological discussion on it. A lot of them have senior pastors who are women. They're very pro LGBTQ. And some of them are flying rainbow flags there, and so the Methodist Church has definitely in the last 15 years shifted quite a bit, and some of the Christians that were Lutherans that went to Methodist because there's a little more freedom in there with worship with some different things, have then left and gone to other denominations, whether it's non-denominational or Baptist or whatever it may be, Presbyterian, all those different things. But the Methodist Church used to be a huge supporter of Boy Scouts. And back when, a couple years ago, when they were renegotiating, if you will, with national, the Methodist Church nationally decided that they weren't going to charter or sponsor Boy Scout troops and Cub packs and things like that. And it made it challenging. And it was interesting because their perspective, there's a whole lot more legalese underneath it, but their perspective was that they didn't want to be associated with that. But yet you look at what a lot of Methodist churches are doing and preaching and proselytizing and, propagandizing and things like that. And they're really not separating themselves from the reason they said they didn't want to support, the scouting movement.
Why didn't they want to support the Boy Scouts? What was the underlying issue?
Many of them didn't agree with the allowing of girls to come in. Was one of them, and the other one was because of the lawsuits and the the sexual allegations, the misconduct from the 50s, 60s, 70s age, all that kind of stuff. They didn't want to take any ownership's too strong of a word, but they didn't want any liability on them should one of the units that they supported have a claim or an allegation, and they wanted national to do it. But the way that our charter agreements are written is that there is an understanding that you essentially are like your own franchisee, and you operate, run, and are responsible for all of that, like you would be if you bought into a Cane's franchise or whatever. And if there's an HR issue, whatever, it's under your span of care, and they didn't want that responsibility nor liability.
Now, have you has the Scouts aligned with a different a church or denomination of since you're not with the that one anymore?
Some of them actually have gotten a little bit creative, and they'll still meet at the United Methodist Church. So there were 3 options that were given nationally by the Methodist Church. They could, on their own, continue if they wanted to have the units still meet at their property and do basically an MOU, a memorandum of understanding, to meet there. They could have one of their ministries, so it's not the church itself, but say like a men's ministry. They could be the chartering sponsor for a unit. Or they could just completely separate away. And so those were the 3 options that were given. And many of them have chosen to allow their facilities to still be used as a facility use agreement, MOU. But we haven't partnered with any new churches or religious affiliations to make up for that. We did find new charter partners for any of the units that were quote unquote displaced during that time, though.
So they're still involved, but they don't want to take that legal, like you said, they don't want to be legally responsible with that type of connection.
Right.
So how big is like your church? Like when you were giving your sermon, like how many? And you said the word I can never say that word.
Proselytize.
I always say pasteurize, and it irritates my buddy Pastor Joe to no ends. I'm like, I
saw that in your comments. It was hilarious. I laughed.
I'm like, I can't say the other word, Joe. Just give me pasteurize. And so he cuts me a little bit slack. So it's like, how many people were you in front of? Like, how big's the church?
We run anywhere from the 180s to 200 weekly. So considered the larger end of a small church. The average church size in America for a Christian church is actually 100 or less.
Okay.
The mega churches, obviously, and there's different definitions of once you get to 500, you're a mega church, or 1,000 or 3,000. Years ago, it was 3,000 or more, you were considered a mega church. But we are 180 to 200 a week is about where we're at.
Oh.
Now, do you have like two service? Because my parents' church, when I used to go with them all the time, we went to like the early service where like everybody just dressed down, and the pastor, she didn't wear the full garb, and then that was like the 9 to 10, and then like the 10 was like the big place. So there's like 100 in the little one, and then like 500 in the big one. So so you guys do like the.
Yeah, we've got our one main service. It's at 9:45 on Sunday mornings, but we have what's called a Bethel class, which is a much more traditional, sticking with our Baptist roots. They sing from a hymnal, and there's a gentleman that teaches that, and it's sticking to the roots of where our church came from, because our church has been around for over 125 years. You know, it truly was the first Baptist church of Corona. That's what its legal name is. That's what it was known for 123 years. And so we do offer that, and that's got probably a dozen and a half to 2 dozen, we call them senior saints, you know, that are in that. And then our main worship service starts when that's done at 9:45.
All right. So now, are you doing a sermon every week now, or is this something that you guys like on a rotational thing?
Yeah, so we're going through a series called Alpha, which is sort of like the core beliefs of Christianity and biblical teaching. And so I spoke on How Does God Guide Us? That was week 7 of the series. There's 15 weeks in the series. And then I'll preach again on, it's April 6th, I think is what it is. And it'll be, Does God Heal Us Today? And so we were, as a staff, offered if there was a topic that we wanted to preach on, to go ahead and pick that topic and do that. And so our lead pastor is really, really not a power control kind of guy at all. He's one that's like, okay, you know, he meets with you if it's your first time preaching, walks through your sermon, you literally give your sermon to him. He gives tips, pointers, hey, let's adjust this, let's take that out, those kinds of things. But he's one that fully believes that if there is someone that has a topic or subject on their heart that's on staff that can share that and make it personal, make it, you know, connectable, then why stop that? And so, yeah, I have two different topics within that 15-week series that I'll be preaching on, or one I already did, but one more coming up.
Oh, super cool. Yeah, I've been diving into on YouTube. I follow Dan McClellan, and he's either hated or loved. I don't know if you follow him at all. Biblical scholar, and
I've watched a little bit of his stuff, but I don't really follow him. I don't have anything against him, but I don't really.
Yeah, I know. I watch every video. I'm on the series now. Did Moses actually exist? Like, was Moses a real person? Was you know? Because I said you know. Oh yeah, you know, because obviously people were confusing him with Tutmosis of Egypt, and whether it was a whole story. So yeah, I follow, and he just osmosis
or reverse
Jones.
osmosis.
Yeah, that's it. So, but yeah, he's not one way. He just gives, you know, as a biblical scholar, you know, he just this is what the words actually said, you know, in the original, and that's all. You know, take it for whatever you want. But yeah, I've been diving deep, and I would love and he didn't get real. He's been around for years, but he didn't get like really big until after Brad had passed, and I'm like, just so many times I'm listening to, and I'm like, God, I want to know what Brad thinks. Like, what would Brad, you know, so, you know, among other things, you know, you know, what would Bradley do? What would Bradley say? You know, JB sent me a video early. He got the Grace O'Malley Pirate Queen cigars in, and he did his little unboxing for me, and super nice. Cool. So at least I still stay connected through Zeal and JB and the family.
Yeah, because the last time that I chatted with Bradley was Super Bowl of last year, and so in Super Bowl, because we were, you know, making fun of of Kelsey and, you know, Taylor Swift, and just going back and forth with memes and different things. And this year when the game was on, I was like, I really want to text Bradley, but I can't. So it was a bittersweet kind of thing for me with Super Bowl, because that was the last time that I had any kind of conversation with him. I
was screaming at him during the Ohio State game, Kerr. You know, there's a couple close moments. I'm like, and I just kept screaming, "Come on, Brad, give him the push. Come on, I know you're at the game. Just, you know." And then like they'd catch the ball or whatnot, and I'm like, Bradley, you know, so
So,
but
so
yeah.
Kevin, with this biblical scholar, you know, and I find them really interesting when you have somebody who will go back and also tie in history, right? Because I think the big question always is did these people really exist? Because I think
Yeah.
that is the biggest, you know, I think push for a lot of people who are non-believers and whatever. I think they always want to disprove the Bible by trying to disprove the existence of some of these folks. And it seems like every time they start digging, they're like, oh shit, oh, they really did exist. Move to the next person. What have
Oh
you
yeah.
found, especially with these, with through this person? I know that, you know, your belief is somewhere wavering from, you know, non-belief to, I think there's something out there, but I really can't put my finger on it. But I think I'll keep my toe in deep enough where if there is a rapture, God will give me some grace, much like Chat GDP, you know, with the when AI takes over, they're going to be friendly to you. I think you got to keep your feet in the pool just a little enough, so God will be like, yeah, he kind of believed. You know what, Kev, you've been an all right guy. Come on up. You know, let's
You know,
let me show you.
And I follow Dan because it makes some of the stories a little bit not more believable. You know, like you know, like some of the wild stories, like, oh, how, you know, that just seems a little too wild. And then he'll break it down like this is what like the actual translation is. This is, I mean, it still happened this way, but it wasn't this fantastic, you know, thing that happened. And he breaks it down. I'm like, oh, okay, that makes a little bit more sense. It did happen, but you know, not in this specific way, you know. So
Yeah, there's a really good video that's out there, and it came out a number of years ago, and it's called "Is Genesis History?" And it goes through creation and it goes through the timeline of how quickly the Earth could have been formed or how long it took and all those different things. And it's I haven't watched all of it myself in full transparency, but what it goes through and contextualizing the Earth being created and things like the Grand Canyon, where scientists and geologists will say, oh, it took millions of years for the Grand Canyon to be carved by water and all those different things. This video goes through and makes it very, very understandable in a smaller time frame of all of that being able to take place.
Yeah, I've seen videos on that from like renowned scientists and geologists, and like, yeah, you know, there is proof, you know, or there is, you know, like it could have taken millions of years, but here's how it could have been done in 500 years or 1,000. Like it really could have been done in this amount of, you know, small amount of time. And here's the root. We're not saying that is what happened here, but we're saying if this is what you believe, like this could have been done on a relatively quick basis, you know. So
yeah. Kevin, you're a book guy. I think I may just get you the book so you won't get it. There's a book called Beautiful Outlaw. I don't know if you've heard of that, Tim.
No, I'm not familiar with it.
The guy who wrote it was an atheist, and then he became a Christian. And I can't remember his credentials are, but he wrote this book about Jesus. And the way he wrote the book was to explain the writings in the Bible into an understandable language for today, and almost kind of set the scenario. Even use the like he pulls out like specific words that are used throughout the Bible, like when Jesus, you know, yelled to calm the storms, you know, when they were on the boat, and the same type of language was used to describe his voice when he called for Lazarus to be resurrected. So it's really interesting how this guy kind of marbles in, like, you know, it puts a personality on Jesus, on how he was, you know, and who he was, and even gets into, you know, the first time Jesus reveals himself at the wedding when he turns water into wine, and he's like, Jesus wasn't ready. And he said, you know, Mary said to him, you know, we're out of wine, you need to do something. And he's like, woman, it's not my time. And she's like, no. And he said, and then he goes, just like a Jewish mother just nagged his son and said, Jesus, they invited us, you know, you can do this. And then it shows you that even the Son of God, it's still his mother. And he still listened to her and still turned the water into wine. It's such a great book. And it really puts this, it gets you involved with the one side of Jesus, I think. And this is the one thing that I kind of did not like in the Catholic faith. It is that it's always this big, pomp and circumstance. It's always this big event. And we talk about the Bible, et cetera, but it does not, I felt like the focus was never about your personal relationship with Jesus. I think it was more about your personal relationship with the church, which the church was the de facto name for God and Jesus. And then following these rules. And every religion has rules. They all have their steps. They all have their little boxes that you got to check. So then it no longer becomes faith-based, it becomes religious, which is just a set of rules that you have to follow in order to be good and go to heaven. And I really felt like that was missed from Catholicism. And that's where, when I got outside of Catholicism and I started traveling different paths, I found that personal relationship. And I think that is really what's missing. And this allows you to see the human side of Jesus, because he was human.
Oh, yeah.
He was God, and he was perfect, but he still was human. His emotions at the temple when they were selling things and they had the bar, he was
turning over tables,
genuinely pissed. Guy you don't want to have pissed off. Weeping at Lazarus' tomb, the genuine sadness and emptiness that he was feeling. Is forgiveness hanging on the cross. He's hanging on a cross. He just got beaten. He's being tortured, and he's hanging on the cross. And he asked God to forgive those who just crucified him, and then asked his disciples to take care of his mother. It's that kind of shit when you read about it, you hear about it, it puts it in these human terms, in human emotions, and you really understand it. That book really did help me along the journey too, because it makes it more relatable.
So there's a really good book that I'll follow it up with by a guy named Lee Strobel. It's called The Case for Christ. So he wrote for a newspaper or magazines or whatever, and he was a journalist. I guess I'll label it that way, because he was a journalist, and he set out to prove that Christ didn't exist. And after multiple years of trying to find proof that he didn't exist, he ended up converting to Christianity because it was so undeniable. He had no choice but to believe the historical factual data, the artifacts that are available. I mean, all the different things, where Noah's Ark ended up being parked and why it legitimately would be there on that hillside, all these different things. And so Lee Strobel wrote the book called The Case for Christ, but he also followed it up with a book called The Case for Faith. So taking it from the belief in Christ to then how is there a way to have faith that can be tangible and lived out. And he's a very, very good author.
Yeah, I've heard about that book. It's like you said, that one thing always amazed me is when you start off trying to disprove something, and then at the end of your trail, you convert.
Yeah, same with the guy for the original the Alien Project, where he didn't believe, and at the end, he's a believer. Not saying that
Tom Cruise reading Dianetics, after you're done.
Dianetics. Oh my God. Yeah, we were just recently somewhere and we saw one of them big churches. God, is that a massive place. And
Scientology is massive, and their goal is to bring in highly wealthy people, and they have literally their own ambassador to support them and continue bringing in the money.
Beautiful place. Armed guards, fences. Boy, they don't want anybody in, for as much as I don't know, they're trying to keep people in or not letting people in. I don't know.
Both. I think it's a little bit of both.
Little bit of both. You brought up the scouting last time we were. It's been a hot minute since you had on the show. We asked about how like the integration was going with the girls. Is that getting bigger? Because I did just read about the Girl Scout cookies. Don't eat those. They're full of chemicals and they're like the worst things that you can eat. I'm like, oh my God, So the Girl Scouts promoting all this. How's that going?
Unfortunately, the Girl Scouts are catching some flack for what's in their cookies, and I won't go into that because I'm not going to disparage them, and they have run their operation. People say the same thing about us and our popcorn and healthiness.
I know. Trick cereal and everything else.
What do you expect? I mean, what do you expect?
Yeah, but as a whole, the scouting movement is doing really, really well. Membership is growing. So the council that I work for is all of San Bernardino and Riverside County. So it's actually the largest territory-wise Well, not territory wise, but in terms of county size, we have the largest county in the nation, San Bernardino County. We have one of the largest councils by land mass in the country. And we're experiencing growth. We're doing well with the girls coming in. It was an adjustment curve for a lot of people. And I think I shared this last time, but the reason the National decided to allow girls in, and I don't really fully disagree with it. There were so many younger sisters that would, they jokingly call them dragons because they would be dragged on to the different activities and all that kind of stuff. And there were so many younger sisters that basically went to all the meetings, pseudo did the activities and hung out, went camping, did all those different things, depending on what age bracket you're looking at, but never got any credit for it. And they wanted a place to experience outdoors and nature and survival skills and duty to country and duty to God and all these different things. And it's actually been really good. I mean, the Cub Scout level, which is kindergarten through 5th grade, they have fully blended boys and girls packs. They call them family packs. And it was a pilot program that they did for about a year, and it was proven very successful. So it went nationwide. The troop level, when they allowed girls in the troop level in 2019, it's grown and done really well. And so they're doing a pilot right now of having girls troops and boys troops blend together. I'm expecting that they're going to move forward and say, yeah, we can do this nationwide moving forward. But it's been really good. And in a couple different ways, it's been sort of comedically good because boys, especially when they're in their teenage years at the troop level from, before they get into their teens, when they're 10 and a half, 11 years old up through, 18 years old, they don't like being shown up. And the girls that first started in the troop level in 2019 have put a lot of pressure on the boys, and it's become a sort of competition of like, oh, I'm going to earn more merit badges. Oh, I'm going to earn my Eagle first. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. So it's actually been really healthy kind of competition for the boys that are in the program, because not that they don't want to be shown up, but they want to prove that, look, this is started as just us. We're glad you're here, but we can keep pace with you. And it's been a really cool thing to see, cool thing to work alongside them. And, in the district that I support, we had a few different girls that earned their Eagle in the first time it was possible, first opportunity in 2020, 2021. And, to have, scouts that are part of the, inaugural group of, girl Eagle Scouts was really cool to see, because it's brought the organization in many ways together in a really cool way. But I mean, some of the old traditional tried and true, my dad's an Eagle Scout, and he's 72 years old, and he understands why girls are in, doesn't understand some of the decisions that have been made recently, and that's fine. And so there's always going to be the ones that want to stick to the traditional Boy Scouts for boys, Girl Scouts for girls.
Shaking his fist.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, what the organization firmly stands on and believes in, if there is a youth that wants to positively develop themselves, impact their life, and impact their community by making moral and ethical decisions, why would we want to stop them? Because a lot of what the Girl Scouts organization has done in recent years, and not all of them are this way with the local troops, is they've become much more girl entrepreneur, next Beyonce, Oprah Winfrey,
hashtag girl boss.
Yeah, they've gone that route, and not all of the troops are still doing as much of the outdoor camping, and you can find them. They still do it. They exist. So I'm not saying that they've completely lost sight of that, because they haven't. But a lot of the girls didn't want to go through that side of the program, and they wanted to join, the BSA, which is now technically Scouting America as of February this year. We're still legally Boy Scouts of America, but Scouting America is our business name, our DBA. And there are many, many girls that are in our program that are still a part of Girl Scouts of America, and their version of Eagles called the Gold Award. And we have many girls that earn their Gold Award and their Eagle Scout Award, together. And I think it's cool that there's more than one program that's out there for them that they can get involved in, learn survival skills, learn all the things that, I've got 2 brothers that only have girls, and they didn't raise, sissy la girls. They did yard work. They did this, they did that. And there are many families that want to give their daughters that opportunity. And so scouting gives them that opportunity.
Now, are there are women being allowed into leadership positions like the ones that you hold? Not girls, women. You know, is that
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah, so my title is district executive, which basically is a fancy way of saying that I support a territory, a district is the way it's labeled, and the units that are in that district, whether they're the Cub program, which is the elementary, the troop level, or venturing, which is the 14 to 20-year-olds, the explorers, which is the 14 to 20-year-olds. There are many, many, many women that are scout masters or Cub masters or assistant scout masters, all those different things, because we have protection barriers in place. We call it it's YPT, but youth protection training, where if you are at an event and there is even one single girl at that, you're required to have at least one female leader there. And our organization is probably the most, it's one of the most, if not the most strict when it comes to protecting our youth. And having trainings, having fingerprinting, having all these different things that we require our leaders go through, background checks, all that kind of stuff, so that we can ensure the safety of the youth, because that is the paramount focus. That's primary, focus number one is keep the youth safe. And then after that, it's get them outdoors, have fun, do all these different things, develop them, learn them, all that kind of stuff. But we have a huge emphasis on making sure that the youth stay safe. We have women leaders in the volunteer position, Scoutmaster, Cubmaster, Assistant Scoutmaster, all those different things, den leaders. But on the professional side of things, district executives, senior DEs, district directors, there are female scout executives, which is like the CEO of that council. So throughout the entire organization, we have many, many, many women that are in prominent positions.
Did they axe the term den mother?
They actually did, and that was quite a few years ago, where den mother went away and den leader became the moniker for it. And you'll still have some of the grandparents now where, I was a den mother for little Billy's dad when he was in Cub Scouts.
Yeah.
Is it den people? I don't know what we're allowed to say, but yeah,
den folk. It's den folk.
Oh no, actually it would be, so instead of den mother, it'd be den birthing person. I think that's what.
I did have one question about the Scouts, and you had mentioned it before, and with the affiliation with the Methodist Church, is the Scouts faith-based, or is there a faith-based component to it, or is that kind of a district by district or area by area? Is it a national, that there is some sort of faith based into it in Christianity?
There absolutely is. So in the scouting organization, there is one of the Scout oath talks about duty to God, and there is an opportunity to earn what's called the religious not emblem, which is through your specific faith system to do work, to read, to learn more, to develop yourself, to gain a deeper understanding of that faith system that you adhere to or ascribe to. Duty to God is absolutely whatever that God deity entity looks like to you, whether you're Christian or Catholic or Hindu or Buddhist or Jainism or whatever it may be. There are dozens of opportunities to earn the religious not emblem, and duty to God is very much one of the core beliefs and core foundations for the organization.
So it's not Christianity per se; it's just faith-based.
No, there's no specific one that is considered the preferred or primary. It's whatever you and your household, your family, or maybe just you independently have as your faith system and your belief system, and developing that.
Got you.
But it is very much the majority of it is when praying. It's praying to God. If it's what's called used to be called Scouts Own, now it's called Interfaith Worship Service on Sunday mornings when you're on a camp out. There are scripts that are written or prayers that are written that you can do, but then they can also generalize it to some of them will even say, like, the great Scoutmaster above, or great Scoutmaster, father of all scouts, things like that, where they have generalized it. But the majority of the units that I support, have been to, and are aware of, the majority of them pray to God, whether it's, mostly under the Christian and Catholic umbrellas.
But it's not a mandate. So if you actually have a 10-year-old that knows what, being an atheist is, he's not going to be ostracized if he wants to be a scout. he can come and still.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so what the program has set it up as, or the way that they've set it up, is for each year, each rank for the elementary age kids, so again, kindergarten through 5th grade, is there is a duty to God component that is a required advancement or activity to do. But what it asks is that scout and their family have a discussion of whatever their belief system is. And it's not checked up on. We don't require them to do a write-up or anything. It's done on the honor system, because one of the 12 points of the scout law is, a scout is trustworthy, is that they have that conversation, and then the parents just share with that den leader, or the scout shares with their den leader. I've done that with my family. We can mark that one off, but it's not anything that is scrutinized as to what their personal belief is.
Okay.
I think get that badge if you don't have. There is no faith. Like, there's nothing.
There are opportunities to do a. I don't want to call it vanilla and dilute it or devalue it, but there are units, including the one that. So I'm chaplain for the troop that both of my boys belong to, and there are programs that you can go through where, even if you don't believe in God specifically or in a higher power or whatever it is, there are different programs under that focal point where you can have the scout go through it to earn it, but there has to be work put in, and there has to be at least an acknowledgement of what that material is, but it's not a requirement to adopt that belief system, or to change how you live, or to go, okay, I have to be a Buddhist to go through this one. But if you have a cousin who's in the program and you don't have any faith system, and you want to do it with your cousin who's a Buddhist, then you're more than welcome to join in there with join in it with them and do that without having to quote unquote convert to that faith system.
Oh, I like that.
Okay.
That's definitely cool. Let's get in. I mean, we're in the latter half of the show. Let's get a little bit. You were at TPE. I saw a lot of your coverage from TPE. This isn't your first TPE, correct? You've done TPE.
No, this
before?
was my 3rd or 4th time. I think 3rd. Yeah, I didn't go last year, so it was my 3rd time.
Okay. Now, will you be at PCA this year as well?
Yeah, I'll be at PCA.
Okay, Kerr will be joining me at PCA this year.
Nice.
I knew in private talk. So you and your rolling cart is definitely the talk of some of the manufacturers. I don't know if it was Tom Lazuka or who was telling me is and you came up in our casual conversation about
funny.
At media at TPE, and they're like, this guy was rolling around this cart. It was so ingenious, and I'm like, oh, I
had so many people comment on it. I mean, James Garcia with BL Luxuries, he was like, that is brilliant. I don't know why other people don't do it. And I said, I got tired of carrying everything. It's a tripod. It's got a hook on it. I can hook my bag to it, and I just roll around. It makes it easy. And then it's all on a tripod. It's ready to go. And all I got to do is hit record.
That's it.
Right.
Good buddy, Craig Vanderslice. I know you ran.
Oh yeah, I
him.
spent a lot of time with Craig.
He was he had mentioned it as well. So, but he also mentioned that he ran into which I don't know if you ran into. I forget his name offhand. The old owner of Cornelius and Anthony.
Yes, I did not run into him, but Craig told me the night of the opening party that he had run into him, that he was there. I didn't see him, didn't run into him. I'm blank on his name right now as well. But yeah, he was there walking around, just checking things out. Yeah,
and kind of alluded to Craig that that the Cornelius and Anthony brand, like it's throwing it out there. We may see that, which would be absolutely fantastic.
Well, they exploded on the scene and grew, and they went from nobody hearing about them or knowing about them to a well-known name, and then a year later we're gone.
Yeah, it was something I heard like he gave he created the brand for his son, and then his son didn't want it. And I don't want to, and I almost didn't want to say that because, like I said, I've heard it second and third hand of really why
and I don't know the specifics of it,
why that went down. But, which do you, I mean, I know TB is smaller when it comes to the cigar side, but it's massive compared to everything else. Did you get a chance to walk through TPE and visit the other sides? Because I know they do, hookah, vape, CBD, and all that. Did you get a chance to experience any of that?
So the convention center, they had 2 floors, and the top floor was much more of the CBD hookah and all of that kind of stuff. I didn't go to that floor just because I didn't have any desire to. Honestly, it didn't matter to me because I wasn't there to cover any of that stuff. But I did walk around the lower floor, and once you get out of the cigar area, it was probably 85 to 90, probably about 80 to 85%. All the nicotine pouches and nootropics and all those different things were everywhere this year.
What are nootropics? I'm not familiar with that term, nootropics.
From my understanding of nootropics, it's basically like brain awareness, brain alertness enhancements, vitamins through like lion's mane mushrooms and things like that.
Oh, okay. I've heard Sean Ryan and Joe Rogan talk about that.
Yes.
So yeah. So okay. Yeah. So
like a play on like instead of like nutraceuticals, instead of pharmaceuticals, they call it nutraceuticals.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep. And TPE was good. But I mean, the cigar area is getting smaller and smaller and smaller every single year. I mean, from 2 years ago to this year.
That's what I was going to ask. Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely gone down. And the booth that had the Drew Estate usually has, I mean, 2 years ago when I was there, they had the 2-story thing with the DJ on top and everybody out there, and Pedro and the bridge and all that stuff. Pedro wasn't there. Maddie was running everything there pretty much. And it was much, I mean, you go around to the booths, and Nick Perdomo, I believe, was there, but Nestor Plasencia wasn't there. I mean, John Huber wasn't there for Crown Heads. Ernesto Perez Carrillo wasn't there for EP Carrillo. I mean, you go around to all these different brands. Only a handful of like actual owners or manufacturers were there. Like Michael Herklotz was there, and things like that. But a lot of the brands just did not have their main person or main couple people there because of where the show is currently. And, you know, they're playing this dates game for next year where they're only 2 weeks apart from each other. And personally, I think TPE is going to lose out, especially with what happened last year where they were only 6 or 8 weeks apart from each other and everybody lost their shirt at TPE and at PCA. It was like, this is weird. We were just together, but hey, let's have a good show. And PCA was exponentially larger. I think next year for TPE is probably going to be the same. Yeah, they have more money because of Kratom and all these different things, but as soon as Tobacco Business Magazine was gone / rebranded, and you know they changed things back a few years ago. My personal opinion, not speaking for anybody else, my personal opinion is they made it very clear that cigars are the background and not any kind of a serious focal point.
Yeah, it was. It's definitely going to be a strange next year. You know, like I said, with being 2 weeks apart. You know, because I know a lot of manufacturers like Steve Saka, Dunbarton. You know, like he got rid of everything. He didn't crate anything up this year. Just got rid of the whole setup, and then he'll be at PCA this year with an all new setup. And I know they're going to store it down there because we got 2 years in New Orleans. And I'm just wondering how many are actually going to do TPE, you know, especially 2 weeks apart. I mean, who are you getting? You know, anybody that's going to buy, you know, big numbers are going to be at PCA, you know, so
and the brands will still have, I would guess that the brands are going to have probably the same deals. You know, the trade show specials, they're probably going to be pretty similar. But I spent time with EP and Crown Heads, you know, Miguel Chadel, who's just a great brother, and a number of other brands. Talked with Oliver Naveau at United, and a bunch of other people. And this year was basically a copy and paste of last year in terms of sales and numbers, and some of them did better, but others, you know, were either flat, and a few were actually below what they were last year. And so, you know, I don't think that PCA has anything to worry about when it comes to who's going to be at what or what's going to happen. And because of the opportunity that exists, even though TPE does the industry party and all those other things that are there, I think PCA is going to be a better offering. I will be curious to see next year what they do to incentivize the media, if they do like what TP has done the last 2 years and put the media up in a hotel room for a couple nights and do those kinds of things. I don't think they'll do that, but I'll be curious to see if PCA does anything like that to try and persuade getting the media and the, you know, exhibitors and all that more at their show and not at TPE. But I don't expect the cigar area at TPE to be even as big as it was this year.
Yeah, PCA cut back a little bit this year. Last year, Jessica and I both got tickets, for media, and this year, I had to buy Kerr's ticket, and I'm like, that's kind of weird, to have not have a plus one, because most people come at least as a plus one, And then I look at like Coop, Coop brings like 6 or 8 guys, and
him and Bear, and I mean the guys from Developing Palates and all that.
But which it's still better than it was only $150, but it's still better than the $400
for the membership
for the membership that they were charging. And I know TPE this year offered free tickets and free hotel, and a partial flight credit. So if I wanted to come out, so they're really trying to get media out, I'm like, man, that's kind of hard to pass up.
And just so you know, I'm paying Kevin for my ticket. He's not.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Don't lead people down that pathway, Kevin.
Oh, that definitely what. Yeah.
Kerr, you're such a mooch.
Yeah,
I know, right? Kevin's like, how to buy Kerr's, ticket, and
but it was
the clothing that he wants, and
but I thought that was weird that we didn't even get a plus one, but it's still, like I said, still better than the $400, and it was still, definitely worth it. We're definitely going to drive out, and I think it's a little farther for you now, because Vegas was only 4 hours for you.
Yeah, Vegas was a 3.5, 4 hour drive, and now I got to jump into a metal tube and fly for 4.5 hours. So,
are you gonna like, how far is the drive for you then?
Oh gosh, that would be, if I were to go nonstop, it's like an 18-hour drive or something.
Oh, is it? Okay, yeah, because I think it's only, I think it's less than 12 hours for us, Kerr, maybe 10 hours.
And it's gonna be broken up with us, kind of, getting together and connecting and back over. So it's not gonna be that bad of a drive, to be honest.
Yeah, no, not at all.
10 hours isn't bad. That'd be like me going up to Utah, but to do more than that and put the miles in the car, and I'm just gonna fly out there. It's just easier.
Yeah, and then then you have your equipment, like I said, that was the thing with us. We had to fly, bring our equipment, everything else. And, now we get the drive. So now I get to bring whatever I want, extra stuff if I want. And, which will make it nice. But I don't know, how's that rolling cart pack up pretty well for you, or,
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that all works out. So I'll definitely have to check, 1 or 2 pieces of luggage. Cause usually I come with, I take the Drew Estate rolling suitcase luggage from the DE25 that I have, and that's what I always just take because I fit everything in there. And then I have a backpack where I have my computer, camera gear, and then I strap the tripod to it. And then on the other side, I strap the rolling cart that attaches to the tripod. So, I'll probably check one in and then carry on the other. But yeah, it'll be interesting because I usually bring snacks and water and all sorts of stuff because it's not a big deal. I put it in my hotel room, I drive it out there, it fits in my car, and no harm, no foul. But it'll definitely have to be retooled and adjusted for going out to Louisiana.
Yeah, I was surprised how many people in the media didn't have backpacks. Like, I had my big backpack, I had extra batteries, or charging ports, water, snacks, and I only saw like one other media guy with a backpack, and I'm like, how are you not having a backpack?
Well, and then I bring one of the Harbor Freight, the Apache cases. I bring one of the rolling ones because you take home cigars and everything to review and whatnot with. And I used to just have the little carry on one, the smaller one. And then the next year I had to upgrade to the next larger size. And then the year after that, I upgraded to the rolling one, which comes home usually mostly filled, if not completely filled. So, I'll be going out there with a case that's probably, 90% empty and coming back with it filled, but that'll be one more thing to check on.
Yeah, I told Jessica I wanted to find a manufacturer that would sponsor my shopping cart with signs on the side, and just want to push a shopping cart. Or it's like people think that's what media does anyway. So I'm like, let's just play up to it and just having a shopping cart rolling around.
Basket, one of those plastic baskets too.
Yeah, one of the plastic baskets. Just put it in here. Thank you very much.
So Kevin, Cornelius and Anthony was the Bailey family.
Yeah, the Bailey family.
Yeah, they sold the cigarette company, the S&M brands. And then closed up Cornelius and Anthony.
Yeah, it's sad. Like I said, I've probably got about a dozen of their cigars left, and
They're great
that's about.
cigars, man. I
Oh, they're
remember,
good. Yeah.
I always remember traveling up in the Northeast, when they were first getting, popular up there, and it was really good. It is interesting that they still do have Golden Leaf Tobacco Company still operating.
Interesting.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
Mac. He's the one who is in on the website who's showing active is the father, Mac Bailey, and then he's got someone else in there with him, Frederick Cook, but nothing of Stephen, the son.
Yeah, it was yeah, their branding. I mean, I still have, on my bar here, a Cornelius and Anthony sign. Like the branding was just spot
Great.
on.
Oh, it was great
You know,
graphically. Oh yeah.
Oh my
you know,
God, beautiful, great
yeah.
cigars. I mean, just everything about it was fantastic. And I remember being introduced to them first time was like, I don't know, it was 2017, 2016, something like that. And I brought a whole bunch from back down to South Carolina, and it was like that's when I was introducing Duncan to a lot of cigars that I was getting from up in the Northeast. Between them and Blackworks and a couple other brands that you came down south you couldn't get, nobody carried them.
Yep.
Yeah. It's yeah, they were definitely that north, because that's where the family I think lived in the Pennsylvania area, so it's definitely where they
Yeah, they're
started off.
based out of Virginia, Pennsylvania, Maryland,
Or Virginia.
that whole tobacco region. I mean, it's just all tobacco. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of crazy brands when you went up there in the Northeast that it's just like, hell, you can't get these down south. And it's just reintroducing these brands, or introducing these brands to different states and different areas is always pretty fun.
That's it. Now, Tim, who are yeah, usually you're sponsored to go out to TPE and PCA. Who are your sponsors? I remember you said who your sponsors were at TPE, but I can't remember who.
So TPE, I ended up not getting any sponsors for it, just because I knew I'd drive out and the room and everything was Compton. It was easy enough to do that. So I ended up electing not to for TPE. PCA, I'm still finalizing it, so I'm not going to share quite yet, just because I've talked with the brand and there shouldn't be any issues with it. But yeah, I've got a brand that I've talked with. I talked to them at the end of PCA last year, and the owner of the brand was like, "Yeah, Tim, why wouldn't I do that? You've supported us for so long. Of course, it makes total sense." But yeah, I'll have all of my content and everything sponsored by one single brand.
We're sponsored by Irish Beard Balm.
Yeah, we're sponsored by Irish. We get giving out little tins, and but yeah, it's it should be a super fun event. I'm excited to see some of the new stuff. Because we're a little bit later in the year, so it'll be exciting. I'm excited to be there with Kerr, and
I'm excited to meet some folks. I mean, there's a lot of folks I haven't had an opportunity to meet, like yourself, Tim, and several other folks I'm really excited to meet. I'm excited.
There's a lot of people coming out from what I heard.
Yeah, and I'm excited to see a lot of the folks who I do know and get to see them in that area, and really excited to see some people too.
It's always exciting to see how big and little people are. Like when I met Big Ashley, and I'm like, oh my God, you're so tiny. It's like I didn't get that. I didn't get that you were 4 feet tall.
And Melanie, when I first met Melanie, I couldn't believe how tiny she is. She's like,
and then every time that I meet Dion with Illusione, I think I say it every time, like, oh my God, I can't. I always forget how tall. You're like 7 feet tall, and he's not thin. He's like 7 feet tall and like 300 pounds. He's a big dude. And then same with Omar, DeFrias, and
I don't even want to stand next to Omar anymore, because he's got like 9 inches to a foot on me in height. I'm just like, yeah, there's no.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's always fun, just to get caught up and meet the people and meet the lounge owners. That's what I had. So many lounge owners came up to Jessica and I. Was like, oh my God, we follow you guys online, and so it was super fun, just meet and greet and having a good time.
When we were down in Miami, Tampa, and I met Manny Iriarte for the first time. Like, I talked to him. Like, I'm like, God damn, you are ridiculously good looking in person. Like, he is just so scarily handsome. And I was like, dude, you're just too good looking to even be in public. Just go and just post pictures because that's really where you belong. Handsome.
Oh yeah, and then you meet the people that they're just like they are. Matt Booth, Robert Caldwell, like they are.
Both of those guys were walking around the show. Robert didn't have a booth or anything, but he was walking around. I think he got there day 2, and obviously, Matt was there because why wouldn't he be? So.
Oh yeah, two super cool cats that are just like regular guys. Steve Saka, he's just exactly the same, and but yeah, it's always good to size people up. That's what I'm there. Like that's it. How tall they are, how short they are. That's it. That's all I care about.
I was surprised when I met you, whenever it was. Maybe it was last year PCA. I thought I met you. Oh no, I met you at TPE. I think the year before when you walked around with just your phone, and you were there. But yeah, I didn't expect you to be, because you're what, 6'2", something like that, 6'1", 6'2"?
Yeah, 6'1". So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's only a few inches taller than me because I'm 5'10", but I didn't expect you to be that tall.
I get that a lot. People like,
you're 6'2", Kevin. You shrink lately? I thought you were 6'2".
No, I'm 6'1". So 6'1", well, 6'1.5", but I round it down to 6'1". I don't want to be that guy.
6'2" in the boots.
Yeah, 6'2". No, I'm a 6'4" in my Timberlands.
6'4",
so they're big soles on them.
Are you
Timberlands.
heightening?
No, I don't like wearing them because I get like dizzy. Like it's almost like I put them on and like, oh my God, like I'm having to watch shit, and it's like it's an extra couple inches. It's brutal.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yep.
So
it'll be fun.
Yeah, it'll definitely be fun. Can't wait to hang out with you, and hopefully this will be my 3rd PCA, so hopefully we'll get it. Now it's in a new place as well, but hopefully the parties seem to be more that they got really a handle on everything. So hopefully we can hang out more with you and everybody else, because it's just Vegas was just a shit show last year with 8 different parties going on at 8 different places, and it was just it was too much.
Or you go to one lounge and it's this brand party for 4 hours, and then it turns around and it's another brand coming in right on their heels, and it was insane. It was nuts.
Oh, it was. And like, we didn't go to any of them because, like I said, we'd get text messages, hey, come here. And then other people were like, hey, come here. And it's just like, Jessica and I are like, man, how do we show pictures that we were here?
Who do you say no to?
Yeah. Like we blow off Robert Caldwell, or we blow off JC Newman. We blow off, it's like, oh, they're friends of ours. It's like, I know they wouldn't be mad or anything, but
right.
It's like, we just decided not to do any of them, just to,
No, thank you, Zachariah. I appreciate that.
They are honest reviews. That's Tim's one of the few that I still watch reviews on. So definitely short, concise, and to the point. Not these 30 minute. Other than like Lee Mack, I like watching his 30-minute videos. He's always a blast to watch. But some of these other guys, not
10 to 12 minutes. That's about it.
That's it. Even. That's it. That's why I leave all like my tech tip videos. Everything else is 9 minutes, 59 seconds or shorter, because that's all I have the attention span for anymore. So I figured if I'm that way, there's probably 1,000 other people just like that. So leave it short, to the point.
Get to the point. I want to hear a story.
That's it. So Tim, thank you for coming on, spending a couple hours of your Monday night with us.
Absolutely.
From
fun
religion to scouting to cigars. It's been awesome.
Always enjoy it.
So, Kerr, leave us with before we leave you with some parting thoughts. Make sure you're following Kerr Viajante, Stogie Road Cigars, Cigar Props, Tobacco Talk Media. All of the social media links are in the video description below, and podcast description if you're listening to this in the future. We'll be back. We're actually taking off next month because we normally do the Puff and Ponder podcast next Monday night, St. Patrick's Day. So we're going to take off Monday night, but we'll be back the following week with the Puff and Ponder podcast, and then we'll be back sometime next month. We haven't figured out a day for the I Tapped That Cigar Show, but we'll find a day, we'll find a guest, and we'll be back with this platform next month. And Kerr, leave us with some parting words.
Go buy these. That's my closing.
There you go.
Yes, we're on YouTube, so I'm not allowed to say anything about that where you can get those. But go Go Google that and check those out.
Good old Grace O'Malley, a cockeyed optimist. I figured that we could have done a show on Monday on St. Patrick's Day, Kevin. I was looking forward to calling in on Tuesday with the Irish flu.
Yeah.
Having a couple of Guinness and some Irish whiskeys, but alas, we will not.
We might go up to our local Irish pub. We try and stay away from there on St. Patrick's Day, just because it's it's one of the busiest Irish pubs in the country.
Mm-hmm.
Guinness shows up with 2 tractor trailers full of kegs.
Yeah,
2.
yeah. I don't. If they're showing up with 2 tractor trailers on St. Patrick's Day and it's an Irish pub, Ken, I don't think you're going to be stopping by for a couple of minutes.
It's it's just a brutal atmosphere to get in there. So
thank you.
Yeah, no.
I think I'll just sit at home. I'll sit at home and just sip on. I'll
just go to the grocery store and get what I want.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's it.
I got some Irish whiskey in there. That's what's his face, the MMA guy, Colin.
Conor McGregor.
Conor McGregor's stuff I bought. It's not that bad. It's okay. But Tim, thanks for coming on, man. It's always
absolutely
great,
thank you guys.
As Kevin said, I'm looking forward to Vegas or to Vegas. I'm sorry. I'm looking forward to New Orleans. Stand corrected, but to everybody, again, check out Tim's cigar reviews. Check out Kevin's cigar reviews. They do a great job. And if you have any inkling to learn more about tobaccos or cigars, they're going to give you their honest opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I always tell you, it's the time, especially now in a very divisive country we live in. Find a friend, find someone who's the direct opposite of your political beliefs, and take them to a cigar shop. Take them to a lounge, take them to a bar, buy a cigar, sit down and hang out with them. I guarantee you're going to find out that you have more in common than you do differences.
Perfect. All right. We'll see everybody next week.
See you guys.